Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful to you, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future.
I wanted to show you a new air fryer that I bought. This is the Oster French door air fry oven. They actually make two ovens that are very similar. One is an air fryer and one's not. I did want to go with one of the larger air fryers, so I decided on this model. And I like this one because it has a lot of different functions. It has bake, toast, broil, roast, warm, pizza, dehydrate, air fry, slow cook, and a turbo mode. Now that I have the French door air fry oven unboxed, we can have a pretty good look at it. Now earlier, I pronounced the manufacturer as Oster. I've also heard it pronounced as Oster. So I'm not really sure which one is the correct pronunciation. I looked it up and I found people using both versions of that name. So to avoid any problems with that, I'm just going to refer to it as the French door air fry oven. The first thing you notice when you take it out of the box is it's big. It's really big. Like microwave oven size. It measures 21.5 inches wide by 13 inches tall. So this is probably one of the biggest air fryers that I know of. But in addition to being an air fryer, it does all the other functions also. And that's what drew me to this particular air fryer oven. The fact that it can do so many different things and that it's so large. You can see here that this is my Power XL 7-quart air fryer, which has basically been relegated to being a bookend for cookbooks. And while it was large enough for most things that I wanted to do, there are times whenever I'd like to be able to cook bigger items and even cook 2 items at one time. You can see right here on the package for the French door air fry oven, it shows them cooking, looks like some chicken and some French fries at the same time. It also says right here that it can fit 2 large pizzas. So I really think the French door air fry oven is going to fit my needs pretty well. But because it's about the size of a microwave oven, you're going to have a place on your counter to put it. Fortunately, I do have a spot where it's going to fit nicely. And you'll also notice that it has a really nice brushed stainless steel finish on it. Here's a look at the function panel, and you can see it has all the presets for bake, toast, broil, roast, pizza, air fry, turbo convection, dehydrate, slow cook, and keep warm. Your temperature adjustment, your time adjustment, start, cancel, and a clock button. One thing to be aware of is the cord is very short. It's only about 2 feet long. So you are going to need to place it pretty close to an outlet. Now I purchased this at Costco for about $200. There is the model that's very similar but without the air fryer for about $140, and they are available on Amazon for about $250. I looked at some reviews about this product, but I only did that after I bought it because I had not seen these before, so I really didn't have a chance to do any research beforehand. And 2 of the main complaints that I found on it were that the French doors did not stay open well, and that there was a gap right here between the 2 doors that let out an excessive amount of heat. If you look at the one that I have, there really isn't much of a gap there. The doors are almost flush fitting. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue. And let me check out the doors and see if they're going to stay open or if that's going to be a problem. I don't see any issues with that. I do know some people noted that if you go to shut them and don't hold them, they slam together. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem or not. I'll just have to not try to bump them or anything. But as far as them opening up and staying open, I don't see any issues there. As far as pans and racks that the French door air fry oven comes with, it comes with a crumb tray, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put that in the bottom. It comes with a wire and broil rack, an air fry rack, and a baking pan. It also came with a user manual, which I really didn't read it. I skimmed through it, and it's not quite as detailed as I would like for some of the things. The air fryer section, it's pretty good, but as far as when to use it for baking or convection or anything like that, there's really not as much detail as I would like. Okay, I've got it plugged in. Let me see if I can set the clock. Okay, that wasn't too difficult. When I was looking for a larger air fryer, I was actually looking at the caloric brand, and I was almost sold on getting one of these before I ran across this one. One of the YouTube channels that I watch is The Food Experience, and he does a lot of cooking with his air fryer, and he uses the caloric brand, and it looked pretty impressive. And one of the reasons that I was looking at the caloric was because it had a rotisserie function, and I thought it would be really cool to be able to do rotisserie chickens in one of the air fryer ovens. Unfortunately, this model does not have that, but I think because of the larger size of this oven and it does so many other things, I'm going to be able to live without that. But yeah, go check out the Food Experience channel if you want to see some pretty good air fryer cooking. So that's a basic overview of the French door air fry oven. So now it's time to do some cooking and try it out. The first thing I'm going to cook are going to be 2 pizzas. Here you can see I have Great Value's finest frozen pizzas. And one is a thin crust and the other is a rising crust. So this has the making of a catastrophe written all over it, as far as one potentially getting overcooked and one getting undercooked. So I have no idea if this is going to work out good or not, but since they claim it's large enough to fit 2 pizzas, I did want to try it out. It says to place the racks inside the oven before you preheat. So I'll be using the larger baking rack and the smaller air fryer rack, and I put the larger rack on the bottom, that way if anything falls off of this rack while it's cooking, hopefully it'll catch on the bottom. Okay, I'll close my doors and bake. And one pizza says 400 degrees and the other says 425, so I'm just going to go with 425 and press start. And while it's preheating, it'll say PRE right here in the window, and after it's done preheating, it says the oven will beep and display the remaining time. And then you can adjust the time or the temperature either higher or lower if you want to. Although there is the pizza function, I'm not sure if that's going to work for 2 pizzas. So that's why I decided to use the bake mode and just adjust everything manually. Okay, the oven just beeped and the light came on. So let me adjust the temperature, make sure it's at 425 for, let's try 25 minutes. And press start. Now, let me get these pizzas in here real quick. This is the rising crust pizza, which I'm going to put on the bottom rack. And here's the thin crust, which I'm going to put on the top rack. Okay, we're now at about 7 minutes, so I guess that makes what, around 18 minutes that the pizzas have been in here. And the top pizza really appears to be done, whereas the bottom one, not so much. Again, I wasn't really expecting this to work, but I did want to see with 2 different pizza crust thicknesses if it would, cook it pretty good. But here's the top pizza. It's definitely done. So I'm going to pull this out. And even having the bottom thicker crust pizza located closer to the heating element, that didn't really seem to do much for the top of the pizza. So I'm going to take this out. And I'm going to bring it up to the middle slot. Get it a little bit closer to that top heating element. There's almost 6 minutes left. So I'll let it go and see what it looks like. All right, our time is up right now. So let's check this out. Press cancel. So this pizza is looking pretty good. And I believe the crust is done also. Oh yeah. I noticed a few crumbs or pieces of cheese had dripped onto the crumb tray, not very much. And I do remember a couple reviews talking about that the crumb tray didn't really cover the bottom adequately, but really it goes all the way from side to side and back to front. So the few pieces that did fall were easily caught by the crumb tray, so I don't think that's an issue at all. So here's the thin crust pizza that I cooked. I'll cut a piece of it and check out the crust. It doesn't really look very dark, but it's definitely done. Still pretty firm. So that looks pretty good. And here is the rising crust pizza. Let's check check the crust on this one. A little bit darker, but it was also right on top of that heating element. Again, it's firm. The crust did rise like it was supposed to. So it's looking pretty good. So I would say as an overall, I'm pretty happy with the way the air fryer oven worked on the pizzas. So I'm pretty satisfied with the way things worked out for my first cook in the French door air fry oven. It wasn't perfect, but then again, as I said earlier, I wasn't expecting it to be because I was using two different type of pizzas. And if I had switched them out during cooking and put the thicker rising crust pizza on the top and the thinner crust one on the bottom, they may have cooked evenly. Next up, I'm going to cook some of these deli style wedges, which are basically thick cut French fries, because I think a lot of people do use the air fryers to cook fries with. Now, since these are pretty thick, I'll use the thick fry setting on the air fry chart. It says to cook for 450 degrees at 20 to 25 minutes. And I don't need to add any oil. So let's preheat it. I'll press air fry, put it to 450 degrees, and press start. It does say to put the rack in the oven while it's preheating, but I am not going to do that because then I just have to take out the hot rack, put the fries on it, and put it back. So I'm going to leave the rack out until it's preheated and then put it in with the fries on it. Preheating is done. So let me make sure that my temp is on 450. It is. And the suggested time is 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to place the air fry rack in the middle slot. That way it can get equal heat from the top and the bottom. And we'll go for about 22 minutes. Okay, hopefully the fries are done. I'm going to pull one out and check it real quick before deciding whether I need to proceed with cooking it a little bit more or if these are good. They do look like they're probably ready. They're nice and crispy. Listen to this snap. I don't know if you could hear that on camera, but they're definitely done. I guess it'll continue to beep until you hit cancel. So let me pull these out. Now, one thing that I will tell you is that after cooking the pizzas and now the fries, is you will have a fair amount of heat escaping from the French door air fryer oven. Now, as I said earlier, some people were talking about a gap between the doors. This one doesn't really have one, or at least it's a very minimal gap. So I'm not sure if older models had a bigger gap or what, but there doesn't seem to be any significant gap on this particular one. But as an overall, you will feel some heat right here in this area. I don't find it any more significant than on my Power XL air fryer. Also, I don't find it all that loud. I would say that my Power XL air fryer is at least as loud as this one is. It may even be a little louder. So I don't really think the noise level is much of an issue. So here are the fries or potato wedges that I just cooked. Super crispy. They're definitely done on the inside. So it looks like it cooked them pretty good. Next, I'm going to be baking some fish. These are flounder fillets that I sprinkle with a little bit of my own seasoning, a little bit of Old Bay, a little bit of lemon and pepper, and I topped with butter. Now, I wasn't sure whether I should try to broil these exclusively or use the baking function, and I'm afraid if I use the broiler, they may get overcooked. So I think I'm going to play it safe and just use the bake function. Other than air frying, there's no real guide on suggested cooking times for anything else in the owner's manual. So I think I'll do bake at 375 degrees. So I think I'm going to cook these for 15 minutes, and I'm just going to watch it throughout and see if I need to adjust the temperature during cooking. I'm coming up on about 10 minutes of having the fish cooked. So I'm going to pull that out and have a little bit better look at it, because I think it's possible that it might be just about done. For these last few minutes, I'm going to bump the temperature up a little bit because it's not quite browning as much as I wanted. So I'm going to put it on 450 and let it finish out with a little bit higher temperature. Okay, let's check the fish, and I'm pretty sure that it is done at this point. It didn't quite brown as much as I wanted, and I think next time I cook fish, I'm gonna go ahead and just try the broil feature, which, as I said earlier, I didn't know if that would overcook the outside of the fish without getting the inside done, because I'm not really familiar with how this oven cooks yet. Or at the very least, I would try a higher temperature, maybe 425 for maybe 12 minutes and see how that does. But I am satisfied with the results because the fish is cooked. It just didn't really get the color that I wanted. I want to try the air fryer again. So I'm going to be air frying some of these Chipotle chicken mini tacos, which I got from Costco when I picked up the French door air fry oven. They were actually giving samples of these and they were pretty good. There are no instructions for the air fryer to cook the mini tacos. So I think I would try 400 degrees. The package for the mini tacos says to cook at 400 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. I think with the air fryer they're going to cook a little bit faster, but there's really nothing that corresponds with something like this on the air fryer chart for the oven. So let's try just going for, say, 10 minutes. There's just over a minute left on my mini tacos. They look like they're about done, so I'm going to pull these off of here and see what the temperature is on the inside. So they're ready to go after roughly about 8 minutes. So I'm going to cancel this and pull those out. So now that I've had time to cook a few different things in the French door air fryer oven, I've got to say that I really like it so far. I like the fact that you can do multiple things with one device, and I really didn't get too much into all the features that it offers. I really only did some baking and air frying, and then of course I tried the convection on the chicken breasts. I haven't really found too much that I don't really like about it. One thing that I will note is that if you look at the heating elements down here on the bottom, they're kind of exposed where food could fall onto the heating elements, which, you know, that could cause a little smoke. I don't think it's probably much of a fire risk, but it's just something you're going to need to be aware of and maybe occasionally have to clean them. I didn't cook anything today that was too messy, so there was really no issue. As a matter of fact, there's only a couple crumbs that really fell down onto the crumb tray. The air fryer does put out a little bit of heat on the front, but I didn't find it to really be excessive at all. Now it does get hot on the top of the air fryer, and it gets really hot behind the air fryer. I did try to measure it with my non-contact thermometer, and for some reason I was not getting a good reading. It was reading about 110 to 115 degrees, but I can promise you, when I touched it, it was a lot hotter than that. So you will definitely need to keep that away from being directly against the wall or anything. And I would say you really need to keep the whole oven where it's clear on both sides, the top and the back. So that's something else I'd say you need to be aware of. But as far as how it's cooked everything, I'm definitely happy with it. I think the size and the versatility of this particular air fryer oven is what's going to be its real big selling point. But I'm definitely going to be cooking more things in the air fryer oven, and probably I'm going to make some videos of some of those. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.